What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Dr. Mike Axler here, professor of exercise science, PhD in applied human physiology, 60 plus time marathoner and ultramarathoner, and performance coach. Today, we are going to be talking about how to both eat and train for maximum muscle protein synthesis, so muscular gain in the terms of hypertrophy, muscular strength. And it's funny, there's so many people in the gym who want to get big and strong, and a lot of other people who just want to be healthy. And what's funny is that you can probably wrap up this entire discussion into just like go into the gym, be consistent, and then eat well. And that's it. But today we're going to talk about the little teeny tiny nuances that maybe you are doing or you're not doing. So we're not going to have any wasted potential. We're not going to waste any time, and we can cut through any of the noise and just see what the science has to say about how to increase muscle protein synthesis. So to start off today on the common problem that we see in a lot of gyms, I know it's not just me, you probably do as well. The first common problem is that many people fail to train hard. And I go to a gym around here, and a lot of the times it's just like a big group of friends just hanging out. And I don't think those friends are really there to put on muscle and to actually progress. They're kind of just there to hang out. But the main thing is that if you are taking your sets sufficiently close to failure such that your blood pressure is going up, your heart rate's going up, you're getting the skeletal muscle pump, you can't get that last rep out, that's hard. But that's very hard to come by in a gym. A lot of people don't want to train hard. Number two on the common problems is suboptimal protein timing and dose. A lot of people will say something along the lines of like, oh, I'm full, I'm not that hungry, or oh yeah, I eat a lot. And they really don't eat a whole lot, or they just don't have a lot of protein. And with respect to the protein, they probably don't have a lot of quality protein and a lot of quantity throughout the day. The third common problem is poor training quality. The amount of people that we all see at the gym who just have awful technique, they're rushing every single rep and they're just letting the weights fall. And again, they stop like 5 or 6 reps short of failure. The training quality isn't there. This results in low muscle activation. And lastly, the last common problem is inconsistent recovery, very much blunts adaptations. If you're not waking up and falling asleep within like a 1 or 2 hour window every day, if you're not sleeping 6 to 7 to 9 hours every night, you're just not going to be able to cover sufficiently. The common problems, I think, can be summed up to just most people just don't know how to stimulate muscle protein synthesis consistently. So some of the flawed but common approaches which people might get half right, we're going to divvy this down into both nutrition and then workouts. On the nutritional standpoint, a lot of people probably have a lot of well-wishing lifters who are there consistently probably get a decent amount of protein, but maybe it's poor distribution where they're not getting it pre and post-workout. They might get it at one point in the day and another point of the day. And while protein intake or 24-hour daily protein intake is important, you should be able to be getting it all throughout the day in equal chunks, but we'll talk about that later. The second common but flawed approach is going to be fasting too long between meals. And this again goes back to that idea of I'm not hungry. And I know right now there's like a huge school of people on like the intermittent fasting or time restricted feeding. And case in point, if you want to increase muscle protein synthesis, if you want to put on muscular strength, muscular power, muscular hypertrophy, you should not be intermittent fasting. You should not be concerned about your caloric intake. You should be eating consistently, at least at maintenance, if not even into a surplus. The third common but flawed nutritional mistake is that people rely way too much on supplements, whether it's just taking protein powders or mass gainers or especially caffeine. If they don't have time to have a meal or they're just not hungry, everyone will drink an energy drink. And an energy drink, it might have 0 calories and tons of beta-alanine and caffeine, so it gets you ripping and rolling, but it's not going to be there to actually give you nutrients and give you vitamins and minerals. And lastly, on the nutritional standpoint, People fail to have intra-session or post-session nutrition when needed. If you are consistently training hard in the gym and sometimes 2-a-days to really pack on the muscle that you want to pack on, sometimes you're going to need water or electrolytes or maybe even a little bit of a carbohydrate source during your workout, a little bit of Gatorade. And if you're not getting that, what ends up happening is that you do really, really well in the first 2 or 3 exercises, things plateau, and then things start to dip. And when things start to dip, you go, who cares anyway? And then you skip the last couple of exercises. So those are just 4 common nutritional approaches which are flawed, but we'll talk about how to get them better. With the workout flaws, people don't work out with nearly enough volume, intensity, and just overall consistency. You need to be getting in the gym 4, 5, 6 days a week to really maximize your muscle protein synthesis. And if you're not taking sets sufficiently close to failure, so intensity, and you're not doing enough volume, minimum 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, you're just not going to get the best out of your growth. Okay, so why these don't work? So number 1 is muscle protein synthesis is short-lived. While it's going to take around 24 to 48 hours for your muscles to really, really regroup after a workout, it's going to be that 2 or 3 hours post-recovery window where you want to increase glycogen resynthesis as well as increase muscle protein synthesis. For the glycogen resynthesis, if you really train hard and you're not eating a whole lot of carbohydrates, the glycogen or the storage form of glucose in your liver and skeletal muscles slowly starts to decline. And not only that, so you're low on energy, but for muscle protein synthesis, your muscles want to recover. So seeing as that muscle protein synthesis is short-lived, it would really benefit folks to eat consistently throughout the day and not wait till the end of the day. Second, on why these half-baked ideas don't really work, is without proper timing, we could have missed gains by way of recovery. We need to consistently be eating. Third, resistance training needs to reach thresholds of intensity and fatigue, which we had talked about. A lot of people just don't train hard enough and train adequately enough with respect to volume. And lastly, aging, low sleep, and stress further reduce muscle protein synthesis responses. We know that the hormonal milieu needs to be in favor of the person trying to build muscle. So testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, even cortisol to a certain extent, we need to make sure that these hormones are proper concentrations, you're not overly stressed, so that you can begin to have the best progress possible. So main thing here is you can't out-eat poor training or poor recovery. Already the science-based solution, let me please offer you this way of how to both eat and train to maximize your muscle protein synthesis. Okay, number 1, train with intent. So what you're going to want to do is do the compound lifts, the push, the pulls, and the presses, where a bunch of muscle groups are all working together as synergists in a compound bilateral fashion to just increase the amount of strength that you can build. You're going to want to go to an RPE, or a rating of perceived exertion, of a 7 to 10, basically meaning go within 0 to 3 reps shy of failure, and do full body splits. The great thing about the full body splits is that you can train each muscle group 4, 5, 6 times a week. And as opposed to putting all of your chest training on Monday, you could do chest Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And even if you only hit 3 to 4 sets per session, you're still getting in 15 to 18 really, really quality sets per week, which is awesome. Second, eat with intent. So have no less than like 3, 4, or 5 protein feedings per day. So what's that equate to? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. Easy peasy. Or breakfast, pre-workout, post-workout, dinner. Easy. We want to make sure that we're maximizing muscle protein synthesis consistently throughout the day. And with the idea of both calories and protein, make sure you hit 20 to 40 grams of protein per serving, or at least have around 1 gram per pound of body weight per day of protein, and then divvy that up evenly throughout your 3 to 5 meals. And lastly, recover with intent. Make sure you're sleeping 7 to 9 hours per night. You don't want to be groggy and bleary-eyed in the morning and having to just keep yourself awake with caffeine. You want to be well rested and take on the day. Okay, why this works for everyone, backed by science, and how this will work for you as well. So these approaches are very much backed up by a lot of the scientific literature from years past. If you do follow these recommendations accordingly, you'll finally be able to match your nutrition to your training stimulus. You're not going to be overreaching, you're not going to be getting injured, and you're not going to be getting sick. And with this, your greater consistency that you can keep stimulating muscle protein synthesis just equates with more lean mass and overall a better body composition, so higher muscle mass and decreases in fat masses. This can also reduce wasted effort in the gym. Instead of going into the gym on one day a week and saying, I'm going to do 10 or 20 sets of chest, you go, no. I'm going to do 3 sets today, 3 sets tomorrow, 3 sets the next day. And over time, the compound interest really starts to work in your favor. And the great thing is that this applies to people of all ages. As we've said in past videos, we can very much increase muscle protein synthesis at very young ages and all the way up until our 80s. So you have plenty of time, but please start today. And lastly, longevity, performance, body comp, all benefit from this approach. So just the whole health approach, the whole holistic health approach, this is the way to go. So with that, I do want to thank you for tuning into another episode. I do hope you enjoyed this one. And if you did learn a thing or two or three, please like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. And make sure not to skip your protein today. Make sure not to skip the gym today. And also make sure to subscribe to both my Substack and my Instagram, where I go into even further detail on every one of these topics, on every one of these video topics. So with that, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next episode.